walking on sand and holding your hand. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland, in my own homeland. Enjoying the bright, the warm sunlight. Oh my God, what a beautiful sight in my own homeland. This place is so nice, wanna do everything twice. Yes, I feel as if I'm in a paradise. No matter the season, you've got every reason. This place is another little heaven. East or west, I couldn't care less. Ooh, this place, it is definitely blessed. My own homeland. North or south, feel free to wander about. You can jump, dance, or sing and shout in my own homeland. Give yourself a
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. Today is Wednesday, and when it's Wednesday, we have our featured guest. And today our featured guest is none other than Miss Charlene Edwards. And she is the regional manager. I'm messing up already. She is the Eastern Regional Manager of the Eastern Region of Jamaica 4-H Club. And I'm going to be bringing her in soon. But I have with me this morning Flavius, Courtney, and also Mr. Bean, the Thinking Bean, Francine and Max Wanet will be joining me later on. So stick and stay, don't go nowhere. I'll be right back, and then we're going to get straight into things. So first off the bat, let me start off first off the bat this morning with all of my crew down in Jamaica. I got a big Jamaica crew this morning, so I'm going to kick it off first with Flavius. So Flavius, what's happening in your neck of the woods? Flavius, can you hear me? Unmute your mic and come on in. Oh, Flavius not there with me. So let me go to Errol. Errol, what's happening in your neck of the woods this morning?
Bless up the morning, Franco, Flavors, and your rest of your crew members and your special guests, 4-H Club, a vital part of our history and our foundation, agriculture. Well, two things I'd like to quickly note. It's about vaccine, but not the COVID-19 vaccine. This morning I heard on the news that there is a shortage of vaccine for newborn babies, not widespread as reported, but in a certain parish. Now, I raise that because just the question of vaccine has been a problem for us in modern times, yet this is something which nobody can manage without. And so, whereas we are against the vaccine for many reasons, the COVID-19 vaccine, yet we are still vaccinating young children, so that should be part of the narrative. Secondly, we have an issue where a number of persons in various communities have been stealing, quote unquote, using illegally the Jamaica Public Service power supply. And one of the measures used by the JPS is to disconnect lights in the communities where this is rampant, and even persons who are paying customers have been affected. Now, before I conclude that point, the spokesman for that sector that deals with energy in Jamaica has recommended that there be a class suit for people who have been paying customers. Let's see how that one works out. And I hope that we can find a way to regularize those who have to be, for whatever reason, stealing electricity, and this is really fairly rampant in Jamaica. Sun is shining in my part of the neck of the woods, as you would say, and I wish you and your special guest and listeners a blessed day. Thank you.
All right, man. Top of the morning. That's a big concern, right, you know, when it comes to power supply, not only in Jamaica but around the world. All right, now let me go to Courtney. Courtney, what's happening in your neck of the woods before I go to more
top
Jamaica?
of the morning, Franco. Top of the morning to the crew, Flavius and Errol and, you know, Francine. Top of the morning to also to our special guests and to our listeners and viewers. In my neck of the woods, it's 63 degrees and cloudy and no chance of rain today. So the forecasters claim. So, you know, I look out for that one. But today is a lovely day, and I just hope to really enjoy the day with our manager from the 4-H club. So takes away, Franco.
All right. Miss Edwards, it seems like you're the talk of the town this morning. Everybody want to be in your company this morning. So Flavius, what's happening in your neck of the woods?
Morning.
Top of the morning, sir. Top of the morning.
Yes. I hear me.
We're hearing you. It's a bit choppy, but we're hearing you.
Okay. Yeah, man, we are a little bleaky. Sun is pushing out, but very slowly. Very slowly. Place is very quiet, you know, very quiet. But nothing much is really happening, you know, today as a Wednesday. Slow going, and when you don't have school, the place is a lot slower and quieter.
Recording in progress.
When you have face-to-face school, the place is buzzing, taxis all over the place and all of that, you know. So that's where we are. Could you ask our guest to sit a little closer to Mr. Sinclair? We're not seeing her at all.
I guess you said it. She should hear you. Charlene, could you go a bit closer to Chef? Yeah, take a chair up. Take a chair around to Chef. Yeah. Wait. I'm understanding that, you know, you want to carry out the protocol 6 feet apart. So I should remind Flavius, you know, that you guys still under COVID protocol 6 feet apart, you know. But
yeah, you can do that, but you have to just, you know.
So I'm gonna
one camera. And no, I'm not seeing the chef.
Well,
only half of the chef now, so we can't go around that.
No,
only have one camera.
Let me help you. As soon as I do the introduction, the screen will be from Charlene.
All right. So I was just coming to you now, Chef. So what's happening in your neck of the woods, Chef? And then after that, we can introduce our guest this morning. So
it's a lovely day today, and the opportunity to tell the world what this noble organization, the Jamaica 4-H Club, is doing. We're glad for the opportunity to let more people know about it. From my side, I'm a volunteer, and volunteers are a big part of the 4-H movement. So we always need people to help and to bring ideas forward. And for that reason, this morning, and I think Miss Edwards will agree with me that you're all welcome to join the group of volunteers.
All right. I'll gladly take. But I want to know if my membership is still activated or I have to reactivate it. I joined the 4-H when I was in secondary school in the 9th grade. So am I still active or I have to
Well, let me just. No, you just want to hear about that.
All right.
But let me just say, I am PAC chairman for St. Mary, which is a part of the Eastern region, one of the parishes in the Eastern region. And it gives me great pleasure today to have Ms. Edwards, the regional manager, on to tell you all the things that we do and answer all the questions you might have.
All right.
So with that said, over to Ms. Edwards.
Good morning, everybody. As you would have heard, I'm Charlene Edwards. I'm the regional manager for the Jamaica 4-H Club's Eastern Region. The Eastern Region comprises of 6 parishes: Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, and St. Catherine, and St. Catherine, right? So those are the 6 parishes that comprises the Eastern Region. 4-H was established, Jamaica 4-H Clubs was established in 1940, April 1, 1940. And we were established as a part of the youth arm of the Ministry of Agriculture then, because they found that there were challenges in agriculture, and the farmers were not willing to take on new technologies. And it is felt, and it is a proven fact, that if you want changes, then you have to start with the young. And so our mandate over time has changed, but not much. So we still believe that if you want to see changes in agriculture, then you have to start with the young. So our mandate is to educate and train young people in agriculture and agriculture-related activities. We believe that any nation that cannot feed itself is a failing nation. And so we want our nation to prosper and survive. So we believe that we need to be able to feed ourselves. Hence, we are encouraging young people to get into agriculture and agriculture-related activities. If you look at what's happening now, not talking about COVID, but generally, to include COVID, there are just not enough jobs for young people. True. And we want to get into the mind of people that you can create your own jobs. So that's part of what 4-H is doing. If you look at all the opportunities in agriculture, we are encouraging as much as we can for young people to get involved in agriculture and agricultural-related activities. So agriculture is not just digging off the land and putting things in. There is so much. There's the value added. There is so much in the chain of what we eat, from where it takes to when we plant it to when we eat it. Okay. And the reality is that we want to expose our children to as many areas. So the technology, technology is wide and varied. It could be the technology in improving farming techniques. It could be the marketing aspect of it. It can be the processing aspect of it. And we focus on all those aspects with our members. So we have, like any other entity, been affected by COVID-19 and the fact that we are not able to do what we used to do in the way we do it. And so we had to embrace a new norm and look at how we move forward in how we reach our members. And so we have gone on to doing our activities online. So we do registration online, we do trainings online, and there is so much more that we do online. So we operate in club settings, and COVID has affected that because, as the name suggests, we are the Jamaica 4-H Clubs. So we are an amalgamation of all the clubs across the island. We operate out of the 14 parishes. So each parish has a parish manager. These parish managers go around and they organize clubs, they register clubs, we organize training for our members and opportunities for our members. And then out of that, we have our regional managers who supervise those activities. So that's the basic structure of how we operate in terms of operations. But there is so much more that we do. So as I said, we do training in agriculture, agricultural related. And of course, we also focus on leadership skills. We took on in the last couple of years 2 other aspects, healthy lifestyle, and we also took on entrepreneurship. So the 4 H's in 4-H stand for head, heart, health, and hand. So let me start again. Head, heart, hands, and head. So that's what the 4 H's stand for. And so we look at, if you look at those 4 aspects of the human body, what it is saying is that we encompass all aspects of the human body. So we look at a number of trainings, and I would have been stressing the agri and the agri-related. We do leadership development. So we operate in clubs. We teach our members to be leaders, So we have the president, we have the normal officers at club, and we give trainings to those. Out of officers of our clubs, we form what is called a Junior Leaders League at the parish level, where the leaders at the club level, they come together and we have opportunities for them to explore what they are interested in and for them to showcase their strengths. But we do trainings for them. So we train them how to do meetings, how to conduct your agenda, how to conduct meetings, how to write minutes, how to take your simple basic financing, income and expenditure statements. So we do a lot of those. So that's part of the leadership. We also teach them public speaking, because if you're leaders, you need to know how to speak in public.
Sure.
So we do public speaking. And that is just some of the aspects in leadership that we do. Outside of COVID, we would have had leadership camps where they would come to camps. We are exploring how we can have some online camps now, but we would have had leadership camps where they would have come to camp and they interact with other young people. They live among each other. So they get to learn group dynamics, how to live and communicate with others. So we also have some ongoing programs. So we took COVID to another level. So one of the things we looked at when COVID caused children not to be going to school, adults not to be going to work, and that is in itself a trigger for frustration if persons don't have anything to do. So we initiated the home garden, where we started calling it a backyard garden, but the reality is that not everybody has a backyard, but everybody has some amount of space that you can use for farming. So we are now calling it a home garden initiative, where whatever space you have, if it's on, it could be a room in the house, that we are encouraging you to do some amount of gardening, and it can be in the ground or in containers, or if you want to go fancy and technology, it could be aquaponics or hydroponics. So we are encouraging everybody to plant something, one aspect of what you eat.
Hydroponic. That be a bit. Well, we lose the chef. I think we're losing you there, Charlene. Hold on, let me unmute you. Go ahead.
We lost internet. Sorry about that.
You're back.
So that's one of the initiatives we looked at, the home garden, and we are continuing that. We are encouraging home gardens. So our officers.
I want to ask something, about the hydroponic. Wouldn't that be a bit too expensive in terms of electricity being burned? Hydroponic farming?
Well, it all depends. It's not necessarily expensive when you work the cost and what you're doing. It does not necessarily have to be expensive. It doesn't use any land space. It uses less water than if you were planting in the ground. So the part of it that creates an expense is if you're using electricity.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the power supply, the electricity that you have to use.
Power supply.
Yeah.
Right. So that is where the cost is. So you can look at ways to curtail that. So a lot of systems are now using solar powered pumps to generate the electricity there. Some people use question?
No. I said I was just coming to the solar energy part of it. Say, are you guys encouraging solar panels, solar energy?
I'm not sure if it is my side or if it is your side. You are
late. I am in latency. All right, go ahead, continue.
It says here, right. So I think my internet connection is a little bit unstable, but we're trying to work it out. All right. So the hydroponics, yes, can be a little bit expensive in terms of the powering of it. But if it depends on the output, what you're putting it, that can actually cover the cost of what you're doing. And worse, if best case, if you go to the using solar power or if you set it on a slope that you get some natural flow from it, it can work. But we are just giving options. Some people can afford it, so we are giving options as to how you can garden in your home. So gone are the days when we have to look at, so we can look at small scale greenhouse or shade house farming. You can look at containerized farming. You can look at in the ground farming. So there are varieties. So we are encouraging all of those. So we find now since COVID, our members have been planting things in their backyard and reaping and eating. It also creates where children would have gone to school and parents would have gone to work. It creates an avenue for persons to vent some of those pent up anxieties and to work, get some exercise and some mental exercise as well in. So we have been stressing home gardening since COVID. We also do a lot of our trainings. We have gone online where we do Zoom trainings. We post information on our social media pages. So all the parishes and the national body has Facebook pages, Instagram pages. Some parishes have YouTube channels. We also have TikTok pages and so on. So we have been on most of the social media, Twitter as well. And so what we do, we also post information on those pages so that our members can get information. So we post information related to agriculture and technologies and innovations, and we're encouraging young people to see how you can come up with some innovation. What is it you can do to enhance what you're farming, to make it easy? So we are encouraging a lot of that. So when you go to those pages, you'll find a lot of information on training activities and farming activities, because we really want to keep the young people's mind interested. We do competitions. So we want the young people to understand that you can get into business. And so we do a lot of competitions. We also are now focusing on what we call our REAP program, which stands for Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program, where we find the unattached young people. So they are out there, they left college or they didn't go to college, they left high school, they're not working, they can't get a job and they want something to do. So what we do, we bring them into our process through the parish offices, where the parish office reaches out to communities, or they can reach out to the parish office. We offer some simple trainings in agricultural and agricultural related activities. So once they join our trainings, and the trainings again are online, they join our trainings. At the end of the training, once they do the training, they attend the sessions and they see the assessment. And the assessment is just based on what was done in the training to see if they were actually participating and paying attention. Once they do that, they get inputs to either start up their own small businesses in agriculture or to expand their businesses. And it's simple, on the ground, basic agriculture. So we're looking at crop production, we do livestock development. We also looking at agro processing, which is how you can process food items to make them into value-added products. So not everybody wants the raw products, but what about the value-added product? So that is one of our major focus now. And as I said, it's catering really and truly to the unattached young people. They are there, they are not working, they can't get jobs, and they want. So we are trying to get them to start up their own small businesses. And we don't just let them go. We follow them. They are assigned mentors, and we follow them. We check up on them monthly, where they are, what's happening, what the challenges they are facing. So that's also one of the programs. As you know, that the teacher, the lawyer, the doctor, everybody have their certificate and they want to say, I am a trained teacher. So we are also encouraging our farmers to get their certification. So we joined in a partnership with the Artrust NSTA to do youth farmer certification. So where we have young people out there and they are doing farming, but they don't have the relevant qualifications or the relevant certification, we are also doing youth farmer certification, where they can get up to a level 2 or a level 3 certificate from her So we are registering the young people, and if they're interested, we get them certified as youth farmers. And this certification for those persons who also, you have some persons who, yes, they're farming, but they find they want to go on things like the farm work program or the other work programs. This is an opportunity for them as well. So we are creating opportunities for young people and our members across the island. Of course, as I said, we continue to do training, and part of our training is the Jamaica Forage Club's master level program, where we have different training areas that we focus on. So what we do, you train with us. If you train with us and you are interested, once you complete training again, you do a short assessment and you get our master level certificate. And these are in specific areas. So if you're interested in poultry rearing, beekeeping, any of the agricultural area, crop production, so we certify you in each area once you are trained in the particular area. We also have one of our flagship programs that has been in existence since 1977 is our tractor operations and maintenance course. This is run specifically out of our Denby Center in Clarendon, where anybody who is interested in learning to drive a tractor, learning to operate the tractor, wanting to maintain the tractor, can apply to that program. It's for persons 17 years old and over. So we have that program that operates out of the Denby Center in Clarendon. And of course, we have our regular trainings, where every month the parish offers training to those persons. We call them stimulatory training. So you're not sure what you're interested in, so we offer any training, you join, and based on those, you can join those trainings and you move up to our mastery level and other training activities. We also operate, we have paid staff, but in the parish, this paid staff is not very much. So we have a parish manager and a parish secretary in most parishes. So what we do is operate on the volunteer side. So persons who would have transitioned from being clubbites can still participate in the movement by being one of our volunteers. And we have different levels of volunteers. So we have the PAC that you would have heard about earlier. The PAC is the Parish Advisory Council. So it's like a board, and it operates there to assist the parish. It gives advice to the parish manager. The Parish Advisory Council is the body that helps to get all the on-the-ground work off the ground. So we want training, we want registration, we have to do fundraisers and others. So the Parish Advisory Council is there to assist the parish to get up off the ground. So they help with fundraisers, they help with training activities. So you can volunteer as a Parish Advisory Council member. We also have, as you would have heard about, all the training activities that we do. So we are now creating a bank of trainers. So persons can also volunteer with us to be trainers. So where persons have the expertise and are qualified to train, that's another avenue to volunteer with us. So we have 3 major volunteer bodies, and I spoke about the junior leaders body earlier, where we start at the club level, where the officers become a part of the officers of the club, become a part of the Parish Junior Leaders League, and members from the Parish Junior Leaders League represent the parish at the national and regional levels. We have the Parish Advisory Council, as you heard, and members from the Parish Advisory Council represent on the Island Advisory Council, which forms a body to look at all the activities that we do across the island. And we have our Leaders Association. So for every club that we operate, each club must operate under the guise of an adult, a responsible, respectable adult, whether in the school or in the community. And so we have those persons that are responsible for clubs are called our leaders. And we have a group called the Leaders Association, and we have the Parish Leaders Association, and members from the Parish Leaders Association make up the National Leaders Association. We are now in preparation for 4-H Leaders Week, which comes in November every year. We recognize our leaders. So the last week of November going into the first week of December, we have 4-H National Leaders. We call our National Leaders Association NALA. So at the end of November every year, we celebrate NALA Week, where we recognize the activities of our leaders and we showcase our leaders and what we are doing. So that in an essence, or I think I have said a lot. in terms of what the Jamaica 4-H clubs does.
Oh, yes. You said a lot. But I have two questions I want to ask you. And one is about funding. So, for instance, someone have a piece of a lot and they already say doing, poultry and planting, say, yam, and they need funding to expand. A youth, I'm just saying a youth, can they come to the 4-H association and ask for help? Or do they have to go through another avenue?
Right,
the
so
4-H help them through another avenue?
So yes, we do help. We don't have the funding, to be honest. We don't have the funding. But what we do is to help them to write their business plans. And we have links. So we have links with the Development Bank of Jamaica, who funds our scholarship programs. We also have links in the parishes with the funding agencies like a Jamaica National. We are currently in partnership with InMed Caribbean, which does training in aquaponics, and they also help us to get funding. So we help them to write their business plan and direct them in the way that they need to, with all the records that they need to get. We act as their guarantor once where we can. And so we have been helping our young people to get into farming. So we may not have the funding. Coming out of some of our project funding, we do get funds and projects. When we get our projects, that is where we also guide those persons. Because what we do is to, our projects department write to donor agencies for funding to assist youth farmers. So although we don't have the funding, we try to direct them and lead them in those areas. So if they come to us, yes, they will definitely get help. Okay,
so you'll help them write the business plan too as well, if they, can put it together by themselves.
We help them to write the business plan. We sit with them, we coach them, we go through the business planning with them. Yes, we do that.
The next one, right? So someone do have the say a youngster or a young individual graduate from school, started doing his farming, selling his crop around the community, but want to find a bigger suppliers. Can they come to 4-H and ask for assistance?
Yes, they can. So what we do, we also link with the farmers market. So there is a farmers market group across the island. So we link with those. We also link with those. We have other suppliers that need the supermarkets, major chains that do those kind of things. So yes, we do that kind of assistance. So we do that. We do that. We also have another program that we are in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture called the AGAL program, which is access to government agricultural lands. And wherever there are agro-parks or production, drive the process of we get 20% of those lands for young people to go into agriculture. So if they don't have land and they're interested, they can also talk to us to get lands to do agricultural activities.
Oh. And may I ask how much acres of land you get? How much acres of land is allotted?
They can get I think they can get up to 5 acres. We are allotted, I think, 100 acres in every agro-park or production zone for young people. And so each person can get up to 5 acres.
Are there any criteria? What's the criteria to get in the land?
All right. So they have to apply. There's an application process. So yes, there's a criteria. They have to genuinely have an interest in agriculture. And so they have to have that general interest in agriculture, and then they go through the agricultural process, which we guide them through and to see if they're ready or not. So they can talk to any of the parish offices. So it is for persons who really want to do agriculture.
Okay. All right then. Because I know a young farmer right now in Jamaica, so I think I can furnish him some information and let him get some help in that area as well.
Right.
Now I want to go back a little bit to what we call it, solar. So the solar energy. What are the effort being made by I don't know if the 4-H have the answer, but I'm just going to put it there because you mentioned about hydroponic, and was asking about, what about solar? Because I know hydroponic stuff is very expensive in terms of, paying for the electricity. And it going to generate a lot electricity. But for solar now, is the government putting into place, renew energy, all of these things that we can utilize the sun? Are they, putting solar system into place on farmers, farmlands, etc.?
Well, I really can't tell you whether or not the government is doing something like that. What I can say to you is that we are encouraging the use of all technologies. So where it is available, we sometimes just showcase the opportunity. So we have different activities at the parishes that showcase. So we have, for example, career days, and we are currently in the process of planning some of our virtual career days across the island. So these will showcase some of those opportunities too. And I do know that some of the funding agencies where farms are interested in solar energy, the funding agencies are assisting them with getting solar operated equipment up and running, because it is something that the donor agencies have an interest in. We are also interested in the renewable energy, and so we have been encouraging our persons to get involved through different types of innovation. But I really can't say what the government policy is on that.
All right, fair enough. Before I end, I'm going to hand you over to other hosts. I'm going to acknowledge Francine, one of our co-hosts, because I know she's on the job, and I want her to, to get involved before she go back. So, Francine.
Hi, good morning.
Are you driving or are you stationary?
I am actually on my way to work, so I'm just tuning in to say good morning. I see that Mr. Sinclair, is that Mr. Sinclair? Who is in the room this morning?
Mr. Sinclair is there, but that's Charlene Edwards. She's
Charlene from 4H?
Yeah, she's the regional manager for the
hi.
Eastern
How
region.
How are you doing this morning? She hearing?
I have no idea right now. It seems like she's frozen. Charlene,
right.
Yeah, she's frozen.
So let me say morning to the team.
Hi, Charlene.
She's back?
Yeah.
Hi, Charlene. Good morning.
She's mute. Let me unmute you again. Go ahead, Charlene.
Hi, morning. I'm back. Sorry about that. We lost internet again.
We understand.
I'm saying good morning to you, Charlene.
Good morning, Francine. And how are you?
I am good. I'm on my way to work. So I'm just chipping in and saying good morning to the team and good morning to you. Hope that you're keeping up the good job. And I know that you have a lot of work on your hand now. You're working. When you don't see, I know you're working.
That is also true.
That's right. Yeah, man. So I recognize your background.
Yeah, okay. Yes, you know where I am at. All right.
So I realize that you're at home.
Yes, I am at home in St. Mary. Yes, it is.
That's right. So let me just congratulate you on the good job that you have been doing.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I know most of a couple of
keep it up and work and keep focused. And to the team, I'll say have a great day. As usual, Michibu is on the road.
All right, Michibu, you have a joyful day.
All right. So you were asking.
Yeah, you have a joy.
Sinclair, good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
You were asking something when I got cut off. You want to repeat it for me?
Me?
Yes.
No. I was handing you over to the rest of team members. So I'm going to bring in Flavius and Courtney. I know they might have questions as well. So Flavius, I see you might unmute. So go ahead, Flavius.
Yes. I know that 4-H is a international body. Do you now have collaboration with the other Caribbean islands? And if yes, what is being done?
All right, so we do have collaboration with not just the other Caribbean islands, but with 4-H International. To be honest, since COVID, we have not done much. So a lot of the other Caribbean islands would come to us to see what we are doing as 4-H, and they have modeled what they are doing based on what we do here in Jamaica. So we are currently in dialogue. We currently have connections with Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, more Tobago than Trinidad, but both islands, the British Virgin Islands, St. Lucia, and Grenada. Those are the Caribbean islands that we have been working with. And they, from time to time, come to look at what we are doing, and we help to guide their process. Some countries are not off the ground in terms of 4-H, and they have been using us as a model to start their 4-H activities. We used to have exchange programs where we would go to them and they would come to us. But as I said, since COVID, we have not been able to do that. So basically, whatever we are doing now is online in terms of guiding processes. So there is also a Caribbean 4-H Council where Jamaica is a part. And those islands that I told you about are a part of it. It is a bit dormant. And as again, you would have figured that COVID would have affected those. So we are seeing how we can try to get those up and running virtually.
Who next?
How strong is the 4-H in those islands?
Repeat?
How strong?
How strong is 4-H clubs in those islands?
All right, I think the most active one right now, because most of them are dormant, but the most active one right now that I'm aware of is Trinidad and Tobago.
That's good for you, Flavius. You heard? Flavius? All right, Courtney, you want to go next?
Yes, I'll go ahead. Charlene, you spoke extensively about the life skills provided by the 4-H and also, the main objectives of the organization. My question to you is, what do you think should be added to fit the present perspective in Jamaica? Because as we know that, youth are not into farming. And one of the things that I'm seeing presently in Jamaica is this old fast food thing, the KFC, the Burger Kings, the whatever. Just don't want to give them a free ad, but you know what I'm talking about. So, what you think that the 4-H can do to change the mindset of these young people?
All right, so I think COVID gave us one of the best opportunities. So because a lot of people not going out as much as they used to, we have been creating opportunities. So we have been doing series of training, how to prepare healthy meat, how to eat in these tight and trying times. So we have been giving alternatives, and we have found the take-up to be very good. What we lack is funding as a government entity. And so in order to promote some of that, we would want to see some more funding for some of our activities. But I think COVID has presented us with this opportunity where we are reaching out to more persons, how to be eating healthy, eating more of what we produce locally, the fact that persons are at home. And yes, we do know that the challenge is competing with the fast food entities. And so that's part of where we are looking at. We also look at agro-processing. How is it, and we focus a lot on how is it you can use our locally produced stuff to create some agro-processed items that people will want to use, or how you can incorporate the locally produced stuff into some agro-processed items. So we have been finding some innovations coming up among our young people where they are using our local starches in things like cake mixes and the pancake mixes and so on. So we are finding a take up for that. And I find young people tend to want to move towards the value added rather than the actual, well, not all, but some. So a lot of them will move towards the value added. So we are also looking at how we teach them to produce jams and jellies, wines and liqueurs, soaps. So we have been focusing a lot on that. So what I think we need to do as an organization is a little more promotion, so more young people know what we are doing and can become involved in that aspect of what we are doing.
Wow, yeah. So you say in effect then that what you need is a better marketing outreach to reach these youngsters. Because, why I'm just really stressing on this is because, I see that the present culture in Jamaica, especially amongst young people, is to really follow after the Western type culture. And I know, that it doesn't fit our people.
Well, that's one of the major challenges. To be honest, that's one of the major challenges we face. And that is why we have started club settings at an earlier age. So we are trying to get into the minds of young people from the moment they enter the school system at the basic school level. So we have gone even there to start getting young people interested in agriculture and agricultural related activities. So we do, as I said earlier, we do a lot of competitions on how to eat. So we have creating one-pot meals using local foods only. We have creating sandwiches using local produce, and you'll be surprised to see some of the fillings that our young people have been coming up with. And we are seeing more and more people trying out some of these recipes. We also create these recipes and post them on our different social media pages. When we have trainings, we show people how to use your pumpkin, make a spread, and your local peas to make spreads and so on. So we are going those routes to see how much more we can get persons to become interested in eating some of local produce, and not just in the traditional way of how we grew up using them. So, but how to be innovative in using them. So that's where we are focusing, because if we get innovative, that is where the young people are going to be interested.
Okay, the final question is, what kind of participation are you having in like your youth leadership organizations?
All right. So for the Junior Leaders League, to be honest, this year it is not as active. The participation is not as active as it used to be, because the reality is that, especially out in the rural areas, it is hard to reach some of the young people. But the participation has been good over the years. We are sometimes oversubscribing what we are looking for. And so we find more and more young people gravitating towards our Junior Leaders League, because it creates different activities for them. So we don't just meet, we have activities, we have trainings, they are engaged in projects and so on. So I find that a lot of young people gravitate to those activities.
Okay, back to you, Franco.
The clock was initially set to finish at 12 o'clock, but since we started late, I'm going to add on another 10 minutes so we can chit-chat a little. But before the question I want to ask, before I ask a question, I saw on your social media page where you have this yam cupcake, right? I saw the yam cupcake, and it was a young lady who made it. I don't know if those things enter into Demby shows. The first time I had yam cake, I went to a Demby show, and let me tell you, that was in 2000. A long time. I think you're mute. All right, talk now.
Yes, they do enter, because how we operate at the parish level, we work closely with the agencies that come to Demby. So we work closely with RADA and JAF. Mm-hmm. And there is also the Youth in Agriculture section of the Demby show, where we showcase an agro-processing competition is a part of the Demby show every year. But so again, COVID impact is that what the Jamaica 4-H clubs did this year was to have an online, what we call a virtual achievement day, where persons were encouraged to still do those things. And what they did was to record themselves doing their activities, and we promoted for likes and views. And then we had a competition where they had to there were guidelines, so they had their competitions where under some settings they were judged from their videos that they would have provided.
So what I was thinking was, is this something that could push to the general public to start eating, using our produce and make like snacks? Because we use banana, make banana chips, right? So now we can use the yam and make yam cake and yam cupcake. And I saw it and I was like, I would love to try that. Honestly, I would love to try it.
Right. So yes, we that's where we want to go. That's probably where we need a little assistance in how to get what we're doing, just not out to our members, but out to the general public, so that they can view what we're doing. So this podcast will also help us, because wherever you go, and we are encouraging persons to help us in terms of promoting what we do and pointing persons to our pages so that they can also see what we are doing.
All right. So for a person like me, I was a member of the 4-H club back in the 70s. I don't know if my membership still existed. So can I rejoin, or somebody who's on the sideline who want to become volunteer? What are the procedures?
All right. So the procedure is to really reach out. So for whatever we do, you have to come through basically our parish offices. So you could reach out to the national body and they'll guide you, or you could reach out to one of the parishes, because our membership is really for young people, because we're a youth training organization. But as you said, you can always volunteer. So persons would volunteer whether at the parish level, on the parish advisory council, you can be mentors, you can be trainers. So depending on where you want to help, you could say, and I would guide you. You are guided along those lines based on where you would want to help. So there are criteria, because as a youth training organization, we work with young people. So we want to ensure that persons who volunteer with us are fit and proper persons.
Sure.
So there is actually a validation process where we have what we call a volunteer declaration form, where persons are required to go through that validation process, because we have to ensure that, yes, you are fit and proper to be working with young people. But as I said, you have to also reach out to us. We want to volunteer. How can we? This is what I'm interested in. And you're guided along that process based on what you are interested in.
Okay. So fair enough. So for those of you listening or watching, you heard what Miss Edwards just said. You can volunteer by going through the proper process, by checking out the parish your parish office, right? You have to go through the parish office.
Well, you can, if you can't find the Fort Parish office and you reach out to the national body, they will also guide you. Okay. So wherever we have the social media, if you type in the Jamaica 4-H clubs, it comes up. So there is a web page, www.jamaica4hclubs.com, and if you type in St. Mary or Portland, whichever, they will come up. They are there. So you can reach out if you want to reach that way, and it will give you contact information for the offices in terms of phone numbers and so on. And as I said, there are 14 parish offices, plus the head office, plus the regional offices. So to sit here and give you all the numbers would take a little while.
And for persons who have a truckload of coil and would like to dump off some as philanthropists,
that would be much appreciated. Because in order to give projects, because part of what we do also, as I said earlier, we empower young people by giving them inputs to start up their agricultural enterprises. And in order to do that, it takes cash. It really takes cash to care. So if persons have livestock that they want to donate, if they have cash that they want to donate, again, we are open to those will be welcome, because that helps us to get our projects off the ground.
All right. Fair enough. Flavius gone. Let me bring back in the chef before the chef close by.
Yes, he is. He's right here.
Bring back in the chef. So, Chef, I think we have that all the I's cross all the T with Charlene today.
Yes, you did. And you are so invited and encouraged to participate as a volunteer. And we welcome that.
You know something, Chef, I want to ask you because I would love you to do that for me when I come down. I need a yam cake.
You need a what?
Yam cake.
Yes, man. You get it. As a matter of fact, I can speak for her.
I saw one on Facebook this morning.
Edward will assist me to make it.
I saw one on the Facebook page with a yam cupcake, and I was like, man, I would like some of that.
Well, you know, on my podcast I keep saying that what the Forest Club is doing, what the Forest Club is teaching and encouraging is it's so valuable that more people need to know about it.
Yes, yes.
And this is why, this is part of the process today, right? So, well, they say as at least one more person would have known, and that would have been a success.
Yeah, we're going to have to spread it because as we go through this pandemic, we know say pretty soon. I'm saying pretty soon because I am confident it's gonna pass away. Come next year, at this time we should be having a much better, what you call it, rapport with each other. We can get a little closer, not 6 feet apart as much, and businesses will be back on their feet and things like that. But we have to take into consideration food sovereignty. And the Caribbean, I've always said the Caribbean is a place where it can be the food supply, not only for the Caribbean, but maybe for North America as well. Because if you notice, most of these cold states, they can't grow crops the way how it would grow in a tropical climate. And the 4-H club, I was on Facebook this morning and I was blown away by this young lady named Lori. She went through the process as a 4-H from 4-H what you call it, clubites. She got her master, her bachelor degree, and she came back to Jamaica. She got a truck. She went back into the farming, and she was just talking from her mom was an Igler and used to go to the Coronation Market and buy produce and come back and sell. And she is basically doing the same thing, supplying. You know
that don't scratch the surface. You're going to follow 4-H and all of the medias now, and you see what is happening. There's a lot more where that young lady is coming from. The volume and the successes,
yes,
are there. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
All right.
And is no, and I know you're going to. It's receptive with you that we come up with means of raising funds to help the process. Because you heard Ms. Edwards saying a while ago, the program is there, the framework is there, but it needed volunteers and funding.
Yes.
So the Real Stuff podcast is going to be, and we have invited you to be part of that fundraising mission.
Well, we're going to be the fuel. We're going to be the fuel to help start the engine. So we're going to be the fuel. And today, yes, as you mentioned it, the Real Stuff podcast is going to take up that sword to be the fuel and to help the 4-H Club of Jamaica.
And also, that on a particular interval, we have updates from the Jamaica 4-H Club from time to time.
All right. And we're gonna what I would love is get the videos, because sometimes we can run a video or two, before our show start,
Okay.
and open up the minds and refresh the mind of the people about the importance of the 4-H clubs.
We're grateful for that. And I know, as a matter of fact, Mr. Edwards is taking notes. Don't promise her anything.
No, I'm not making a promise I can't fulfill.
But we should, today was a success. And Mrs. Campbell Bright, who is our first vice chair, and in the organization, it's her responsibility to guide the fundraising process. She is recuperating after a bout of illness. And we really want to reach out to her. As a matter of fact, she should be listening because we called her this morning and told her about it. So go ahead, Franco, and send a shout out.
Yes, so I want to send a shout out to Mrs. Campbell Bright this morning in St. Mary. She's Denise Campbell Bright. She's the first chair of St. Mary 4-H PAC. I call it PAC, but it's PAC, right? The reason why I call it PAC, there's a lot of PAC here in the US. And we want to wish you, a speedy recovery. Drink up your liquid, drink up your soap, because we know you're a beautiful daughter and we want you back on the scene. So the Real Stuff podcast, along with Tapioca and all your 4-H clubites, is wishing you a speedy recovery.
Well said. Well said from the man, Franco.
But before we close out, we're going to ask Courtney, because we have to applaud Courtney for this, we call it was a silent creeper. This coming, when them call them drink the Courtney, the one with the, is it a Smirnoff and orange juice, them call it what? Silent creeper, screwdriver.
Oh, the screwdriver, okay.
I never saw it coming either until I fell asleep. And for all the messages and texts that Courtney left, I said, boy, Franco, we're fine, I guess. And this is a silent creeper. So I want to ask Courtney to come in and give the summary, because it was really the effort, your effort along with Chef and Miss Edwards this morning, for let us, have such a wonderful gathering. And, our promises is not going to be promised, but it's going to be what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we be the fuel of helping the 4-H clubs in Jamaica. So, Courtney, summary is yours.
Okay, first I have to give up big kudos to Chef Sinclair and Miss Charlene Edwards, for really, getting this program going through. And as we know, we spoke about the 4-H club. The 4-H's meaning ed, art, and health. And, she, Miss Edwards spoke about, the life skills that are being provided by the 4-H. She talked, extensively on the objectives of the organization and how they are, really carrying out the plans. One of the things that I love what she spoke about, with the leadership, is about a succession planning, of the organization. She showed us from the hierarchy, of the leadership and how things flow, down and flows up. And surely, I must agree that, I was really educated on the 4-H, because, when I was growing up, even at my primary school, there was no 4-H club. There were other 4-H clubs. I don't know if because my school was a Catholic school or something. I think it came later on, though, because, when I investigated about, what was going on in the primary school, it came on later on. So, just to encourage Miss Campbell, so keep on doing the good work. You're being, tremendous, amazing, wonderful on the program today. And surely, just giving a big shout out again, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, man, enough big ups, sir, because the presentation was, well done. So before you get out of here, Chef, I see Flavius is back. Flavius, you want to say something?
Okay, what I would like is, because we have a youth section, to see how our Caribbean can work with the 4-H, you know, and our thing is a Caribbean is Caribbean also. So see how we can get the 4-H in different countries to come together on our program and our platform. Because our platform is doing, or aiming to do all of the things that you are doing in the sense of giving a voice to Caribbean and African youths. And the 4-H will definitely play a big part in that. So, you know, we need to speak after to see what can be done, what is allowed and what can be done. Thank you.
Chef, the man blow it out of the ballpark, man. The man hit it out of the ballpark. All right, so for all our guests this morning, I want to thank Chef and Miss Charlene Edwards for being here with us this morning, the regional manager, Eastern Region, Jamaica 4-H clubs. I want to thank all our YouTube followers, those who are listening and viewing this morning. And we want to thank you also who didn't participate for taking time out. So in the meantime, just live, love, and enjoy every moment of your life. Be grateful for each new day. Cherish your family and friends. Bless others. Keep the faith. Never lose hope. And remember, prayer changes things. Regardless of what religion you belong to, you must pray. And continue to pray. So on behalf of my podcasting team, I'm going to ask you to please remember to like, subscribe, share the video. Because the object of this channel is to educate you and entertain you. The Real Stuff Podcast is your Caribbean podcast. And also on behalf of my podcasting crew, Flavius, Courtney, Francine, Maxwanette, and yours truly, wishing you a pleasant morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you're in. And I'm going to ask Queen Lobafo to say the Our Father for us in the language of the Garifuna. And then Tafina will take with myself to take us out of here.
You lead us to Fula. You belong far away away. Ajuguala Lebabu Seru. Lida Mua, Lida Sungfula. Lida Mua, Lida Sungfula.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless. Unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
One word is enough, and I'm no longer sorrow. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know I send me a fickle flee. Me I fi take away myself.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
Me I fi get out aside. I fi take away myself. I fi take away myself. I fi utilize.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.